Hi everyone. Today's Tuesday, March the 25th. My name is Anne-Marie Band, and this is Moneyball Morning Report for the Benzinga Pro platform. Taking a look at the E-mini S&P, I'm starting with a weekly chart because our hourly charts are getting a little bit noisy. I just want us to see what's going on. As expected, we're rallying off of this weekly 50, pressing up. Listen, this whole zone is an inventory accumulation area. So we have a couple of things that we need to look at. First thing, we can see 58.40 or so makes for the midline of this week. It's a 50% retracement. We could blow through it and then retest it. But if that number holds, we're headed to 59.67 and then some. If we measure the entire inventory area, which I'm going to say is this zone, we've yet to breach that 50% mark, and that number is 58.89. That line is the one I think we need to watch. I just think it's going to be a pretty important zone. Okay, so that's what we're staring down in. Sorry about the sniffles. But that's what we're staring down on the weekly formation. We go to the daily. What we can see is the 5 is now upward moving. The VWAP upward moving. Breached and closed above the 200. Next stop, VWAP area at 58.75. That's pretty close to our 58.87-ish zone. So it could come up here. Here is the 50 simple moving average on the daily. It's all the way up at 59.40. I think the traders are going to try and get there, right? This is a very bullish upward pressure event sitting in the price action. We want to be very careful about taking anything that looks like a short right now. I think the sellers are on the back foot, and that is going to mean dip buying in general. All right, so the question is, where's the dip? All right, so if we stare down this day before and we just draw a 50% ledge, what we want to do is see that we don't lose 57.74 to 57.80. That ought to give us the floor in the market. If not, value area low near 57.50 is going to be what we'll watch. Now, here's the dreaded one. Don't shriek. Yes, these are all the prior openings that we're watching. So we're just going to expand it, right? We know we have the number 58.80 something way above. We know we've got 57.90 to 57.60 below, and we're sitting right here. Notice the resolution. This is a megaphone, right? So the question is very often, oh gee, it's a megaphone. What do we do here? My philosophy on megaphone is it can go anywhere it wants. Notice yesterday was also a megaphone. It tells us that there is a very big group of traders, very big being used euphemistically because no big players are dancing around here. We haven't seen movement in big players yet. But I do know trend trading advisors were still short at the beginning of the week. And that is going to get twisted around in just a little bit. But I digress. Here we have this megaphone. We're building another megaphone. It's a little bit smaller. If the overall trend is upside and we start building inventory in a single space and holding a floor, the most natural place is to the north, right? That's the term. Is it breaking the trend by time and not price? Meaning if we jammed all of these guys into one candlestick, would the trend still be up? And that answer is yes. All right, so above us, 58.38, 58.53, testing the area of 58.21 right now, but we've got this wick that could push us higher. Listen, we could build another wider leg in the megaphone. But my suspicion is, as long as we hold supports, which would be the pre-market low, I'm going to clone this little thing. As long as we hold the pre-market low, 58.01, we're going to be in pretty good shape. All right, that was a long time I took with the ES. Let's go to the NQ. Let's look at the weekly first. These guys still trying to close a week over the 50, and that's what they're doing here. This is still downward, very heavy congestion, right? If I were to draw this box, how do I want to draw this box? If I were to draw this box here, right, we can see that we are inside of the range, almost halfway up the range. So they are trying to press to the north. We could get back to 21,000. We really could. It all depends on how badly the sellers want to leave, right? And I really think that that's who's driving this move to the upside. Yes, of course, there's got to be somebody on the other side, but largely it is sellers leaving the market rather than buyers entering the market. All right, here's our messy bits. What are we looking for? The megaphone to hold to the upside. Same sort of heavy congestion. As long as we hold the 20,000, I was waiting for a long down here at 287 and it missed me. So 300, as long as we hold 20,300, this range is in play. Now, if we break above value area high at 20,409, here's the Fibonacci of this entire range to the upside. That gives us 20,467, 20,490, 20,527. Okay, so big motion to the upside. Globex low. It's been very hard to trade either long or short. I'm very glad I went to sleep last night without doing that. But now that it's given me this low to hold on to, I can see what the expansion range might be. If I draw candlestick formation there, still gives us those, 20,400, 20,490, 20,430, 440. And currently I'm along with the first test of 20,420 as my target. All right, let's go to the YM. Here we go. Taking a look at the YM, let's go to the week. This one's working on its second week above the 50 simple moving average, still holding very nicely. Big line in the sand to watch. My thought, 43,580. Dips are very likely to be buys in this formation, but easily we could see dips. Look at the congestion zone. This whole big area is a congested region. We could move to the upside or we could move to the downside, but the 50% area is that 43,581. Here we currently sit at 42,900 and some change. What are we doing? Same sort of megaphone event, trying to break out, giving us the highs, and that zone 42,960 if you took the long off the recapture of the Globex Open. This is a space you definitely want to take some profit, right? Definitely raise your stop to the top of the box. But clearly, we have a crossover, we have the recovery in the zone, 42,857, good buy zone, right? Where could we go? 43,035, 43,279, all the way up. But we will stair step through these prior days, and then we just watch for support heading higher. Let's take a look at micro Bitcoin. Stalled out a little bit, but let's have the weekly. This never lost the 50 on the weekly. Here comes a sniffle. Sorry, folks. Time of year. Okay. We held the 50, never lost it, and now we're headed back into this zone, right? So we've gotten some good news lately. The Fed has said, hey, don't worry, we got you. And now the tariff news seems not as dire as prior thoughts were. We'll see. There's still a lot of stuff to shake out, right? And my thought is that this whole year is going to be sideways. That being said, the liquidity event seems to have stepped up in Bitcoin. So what are we looking for? The recapture of 91. Now, they had a lot of trouble doing some stuff yesterday, getting up over 87,250. Just couldn't do it. Now we're up and over it. So let's go to the hourly, see where we're getting chopped up. All right, so 250, somewhere in here, right? Now we're up. Look at this opening candlestick formation. That is huge, right? It's huge. We finally got back in the box. We could go straight to the top of the box. 5 is moving up. We're above the VWAP. Pullbacks are buy zones. Where's the pullback? This is from several days past, but you can see the traders obeying this area near 87. If you can get it to pull back to 87,000, this press up could easily go 88,200 and then, back up into 89,000, right? That's definitely a thought. If we lose 87,000, we could go all the way to 86,200. Let's look at oil. Oil's on the run with a bid because of, we got some stuff going on that could potentially get very sticky in the Strait of Hormuz. We're coming down really hard on Iran. And they could make it sticky. They could make it very, very sticky. All right, there's my first target at 20,400 in the NQ here. So I'm going to flatten that right there because there's a great big order that's sitting at 05. It's not great big, it's about 50, but that's enough to move the skinny markets. So I'll get back in if it pulls back, but otherwise I'm done. All right. So here we go. Here's oil. Here's the opening tick. This is the move. This is another opening tick region, opening range, excuse me. You can see we collapsed and really look, see this kind of wick? That is people shaking out long hands because their stops are too tight. Now, it could have been news, but it amounts to the same thing. So when you get in to a trade and you go, ooh, they're holding here, you better think about what's going on here before you size up in a market like this, right? A couple of us had some real problems yesterday because, it's easy to blame the tweets or whatever on your position getting stopped out. But at the end of the day, you've got to think about worst case situations and go, all right, if that happens, can I hold on to it? Or if that happens, can I get in long there? Because the trend is long. And I'm talking about any sort of formation like that, okay? So the ladders are thin. The depth of market is thin. Dips, deep dips, are going to move in direction of trend, unless it's something cataclysmic, all right? So where are we headed today? 69.80, potentially. Where's the buy? The fade into 68.27 with, potential stop at 69.15. You just have to have a stop in play in these markets. Dips or buys. A lot of noise here in oil. I mean, we got a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world right now. All right, here's gold. As I mentioned, I believe gold is a short off of these very high levels that we had back here. You can see it unfolding. Let's go to the weekly. It's just beginning. My thought, 29.37, easily the target zone. Easily. 29.50, 29.37. If it loses that edge, 28.50. But this is in a rotation. News, this is the thank you for playing, I'll take my money now kind of news for the trader who's been long for an extended period of time. So, yikes, I know. A lot of opening ranges right in the same spot. So what are we staring down here? Listen, where will I be wrong on taking a short? Well, I'd be wrong to short the lows. Why is that? Because buyers are showing up from underneath. Now, I'm fine shorting prior highs, right? Congested breakdown, also a Globex hour of formation from the prior day, comes right into the top of it, falls right to the bottom of it. Textbook short using the Globex of prior days. They are going to matter. That's why they're sitting up here. I'll figure out when we need to move them out, but for now, that's how it sits. Okay? So there we go. What could happen here? Well, we could fade right back into the high of this morning's Globex candle, Globex open, and find buyers. Because that would make this 200 hold, and they'll buy here. We are above the 50. We're above the 5. We're above the Globex. Momentum is up. This is a long trade intraday. But on the daily chart, we are having the setup that I talked about several times past. Brand new high made, closes below that high, breaks the low of the prior candle that made the last high, and then this candle confirms it by bouncing up, unable to hold the close above the close of the prior day, begins to collapse. Sideways formation at the very least. Let's get to SPY. Okay, daily chart on the SPY. We know the weekly, right? Holding that, barely closed over the weekly 50, simple moving average, gapped up, now dancing against the 5. So 575, we break through it, right? 575.84, we break through it. This is the candlestick up into 597 that we're going to try and get to, right? That's the battleground. Halfway spot, 584. That's what we're staring down. Daily chart, you can see we're above an upward sloping 5. We're below the 50. We're going to try and go after that. We are testing the 200. Testing it. Whoops. We're testing it. And so dips or buys, momentum is up. What's the trade? Again, dips or buys, momentum is up. Look at the opening range here for this candlestick. For this day, way down here. Way down here. So where are we headed? North, right? We're headed north. And so what are those numbers? Here's heavy congestion. Let's look at a 4-hour chart, see what we can see. Right? Top of the box, 578. All right, let's change this. Golly, did I take a long time today or what? Okay, original time frame and below. All right. So here is this formation, old resistance, but this big pocket, folks, look at all the liquidity lines going up to the north. It's huge, absolutely huge, with this number at 586 taking us to the top of the range. So easily this chart could move up and then come right back down. But at this juncture, dips or buys. So what are we looking for? We're looking for the dips to be buys. And that's going to be right around those lower areas here with a potential hold of 572, but if not, 568. And then the move to the upside gives us the 577 and then 586 potentially by the end of the week. All right, here we go. For the Qs, we know the Qs are weak, trying to recover. We are breaking out. Here's the range of the Globex candlestick. Right, here's the range for the prior day. Where are we headed? To the north. Where are we going to try and test? 495 easily, right? That's a Fibonacci extension. 495 and then 498. Pullbacks or buy zones. Where's the best pullback? Top of the, whoa, there it goes into 420. Dang it, should have left it alone. Okay, 10% rule. Yeah, 490 to 495 pullbacks. If you can hold 490, great. If not, step out of the way. See if it comes in at 488.69. If it breaks 488.69, you've got to step back. Let the traders recalibrate where they want to go long. All right? Okay, everybody, take care. I'll see you on the streams.